Hallo und herzlich willkommen. Wie ihr wisst, der Spendenstream ist mittlerweile vorbei. Ich hatte viele Gäste und möchte euch nochmal dezidiert das Video hochladen, wo Matt PEDDLESDEN, der Executive Producer von Trains in World, hier bei uns zu Gast war, weil ich mir denke, das war ein absolutes Highlight, dass er da war. Und ja, wir schauen da einfach nochmal zusammen in das Video rein, hören mal zu, was Matt zu sagen hat. Und ich hoffe, ihr hattet ganz viel Spaß. Ich hatte es nämlich definitiv. Also ich habe ihm geschrieben, dass er in den Live-Waiting-Room kommen soll. Ansonsten, ja, genau, er ist da. Okay, wir begrüßen Matt. Ich jetzt schieb ihn hoch. Hello.
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 Hello. Hey, this is Matt PEDDLESDEN. Wow, hello. Nice to have you here.
Oh, nice to be here, and thank you all for all of the work you're doing with raising money for the charity. That's so good. Such a great cause. It looks like you've been well supported as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I forgot to share my display, actually. There you go. We now actually have over 1,000 euros already, and we wanted to stream like until 10 p.m. And we never thought we would get so much money in such a short time. And we were absolutely amazed by that. So, wow.
Yeah, well done. Well done for everybody doing it, and all big thank you for everyone supporting. So, yeah, brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us here tonight. Of course, we have some questions, and you probably already answered a lot of questions just right now. So you had enough questions for today, probably.
No, it's all good. I'm here for questions. I've got to try and give you answers.
Ja, cool. Liebe Community, wir sprechen jetzt ein bisschen Englisch, versuchen aber zwischendurch auch mal auf Deutsch zu übersetzen, nur dass ihr Bescheid wisst. Somebody said, hello boss, Julia. Do you know Julia?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, cool. Okay, Matt, how do you spend Christmas time?
This year, I spent a bit of time at Mum and Dad's, and you know, relaxing, chilling there. I'm not sure I'm going to get any model railway time this year because the model railway is under a bit of a. My dad's got quite a large model railway, and it's always a highlight of being able to sit back because I can't have a model railway here. I don't have room for it. Whereas Dad's built a purpose-built. You know, you and I would call it a bungalow. You know, a house. He calls it a shed. And he's got this giant model, 00 gauge HO scale model railway. So we run anything and everything on it. But he's doing an absolute ton of rework on it at the moment. Sort of put some extra tracks in and do some new electronics and things. So it's a bit of a building site. So this year might just be standing at the doorway to the room and him talking me through it. So otherwise than that, just relaxing generally, and then next week back home and. Probably playing lots of train sim, if I'm really honest, you know, for a change.
Yeah, for a change, definitely. Yeah. But you're not going to develop anything like doing any kind of TSW related work in the next days, or did you take like your laptop with you to still do a little bit of things there and here?
Oh, I mean, I always take my laptop with me everywhere I go, but no, I finished work on Friday. Last Friday, so I've been trying to chill and relax a bit and sort of have a bit of a reset. So, but playing trains in world, tons. So I just picked up the hardware from TS Controllers. So I've been having an absolute blast with that. It adds so much to the experience. It's like replaying all the routes again from scratch.
Cool, nice. Also Matt hat gerade gesagt, dass er, also ich habe ihn einfach nur gefragt, wie er so seine Weihnachtszeit verbringt, und da hat er gerade ein bisschen was erzählt, und ja, genau. We are driving right now, by the way, a modeled railjet with the cab car actually at the back, which is so cool that community is now actually able to do this kind of stuff. Like I would never have expected that this is going to happen in TSW, that the community is able to do this kind of mods, but we are here now, and it's just awesome. I mean, it's not perfect.
Yeah, I mean, the public editor lets people do anything they want, so it's really good to see. The stuff I've been seeing, like coming through, you know, the third party team and the way the things that are happening there is. It's really stunning, you know. And it's always been because I mean, I don't know how many people are aware, but my origin in Dovetail, when I joined, I was head of third-party development.
I didn't know that.
And so I looked after I was the first sort of person, to sort of take third party and create a sort of I make more of a specific thing about it, give it dedicated time. And I think the first add-on I published was actually the BR143 from Ulf and Mike. And it was so I really enjoy working with third-party developers, and one of the biggest strength that the external, whether they're third-party or whether they are the or community, not official third parties, but people who are doing stuff, releasing it freeware and the like. What the strength of that is the variety, and the fact that people will put whatever effort into they need to, and you get some real gems, some real works of art coming out of the stuff that's being produced, and some variety that might not get produced otherwise. And they're working under different rules as well. So it's what enables some of this stuff to happen. So, and I'm really thrilled to see.
Yeah, same, absolutely same. Somebody also donated like 50 euros. I think it was Raphael, my French, the French friend Raphael. You know him as well. Thank you so much, Raphael, for donating 50 euros. We actually, I could show you like the causes that we are actually trying to raise money for. Wait, let me quickly change here. So we are trying to help 6 different organizations. One of that is something like the food bank. I think in the UK you call it food bank. Like they are trying to sell food for not to get any profit, but to help people who hardly have any money. Then we also have the it's called Wünschewagen or Herzenswunsch. This is like a car operated by paramedics who try to make your last wish come true. Like, for example, there is the very old person in your family who wants to spend one last Christmas with the family, and they're trying to bring that person. They are trying to give this person medical help in that time, and that costs like a lot of money. And this is like another cost. Then Sea-Watch. I think it's pretty speaking for itself.
That's amazing.
Then we have like a children's hospice. I think you say hospice in English.
Yep.
Yeah, in Leipzig, and there is like another organization for violence against women and girls, and in Germany. And last but not least, the BR420. I think Erik can explain it a little bit better. What you're doing there, Erik?
Yes, it's our club. We founded last year in Germany, and we're collecting a little bit of money for that cause to save one unit of the BR420, and
and right now,
so it can
fantastic.
And we have like already
we have
over
another
1,000
donation.
euro. Another donation.
We have another 10 euros from Felix.
Oh ja, thank you so much, Felix. Vielen Dank für die harte Arbeit, Raf. Yeah, thank you so much for everyone who donated. We still have a lot of amazing prizes, and thanks to Dovetail Games, by the way, for supporting us with a lot of keys.
With a lot of keys.
Yeah, we got a lot of keys, so thank you so much, Matt, and everybody who's involved in that.
That's awesome. And Dovetail is always keen to support charity endeavors, so this is really good.
Yeah, absolutely. You're also doing like this kind of charity streams on a regular basis, aren't you?
I do 2 a year. Yeah, I do 2 a year. I usually do sort of one around March time and one around sort of November time. The last few have all been around special effects, and probably will continue to be, because I really like them as a charity. The idea of helping make gaming more accessible, so that everyone can enjoy it, and the fact that they can only exist because of funding through fundraising. They don't get any official funding for what they're doing. So it's really good, and they're also really good with working with game developers themselves.
Cool.
Helping us with what they how to make games more accessible, and they're always happy to jump on the call and answer questions, or so yeah, brilliant charity. So I do 2 of those a year, and always blown away by the support consistently. It's I really enjoy them.
Yeah, absolutely, and we can all just try to support as much as possible as we can. And thanks to everybody in this community being always so helpful, always there for other people. It's great to be here and have this kind of community. People tell me that I should teach you some German words, but we will probably not. You know already a few German words, I think.
I know a few German words.
Yeah.
At one point, I did start learning German because my wife and I started traveling to Germany on a regular basis to go to I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was a Star Trek convention. So we were going to Bonn regularly at one point to go to that, and so I was just like, right, if we're going to travel to Germany regularly, we really need to sort ourselves out and not expect everyone to speak English. So we started learning a bit, but it didn't go very far. Unfortunately, the convention was cancelled just as we were starting to get into it, and we didn't go back. So. So I learned a bit. I need to learn more though. I will try and sort my game out. So in the meantime, for my heartfelt thanks to everyone who understands, who can reach that way and let me communicate with them in my language. So I'm very I'm humbled by that, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, you've been a few times to Germany. You said you were in Bonn. Where else have you been?
We were in Bonn twice for the Star Trek convention. We were that was in via Frankfurt. I also did a work trip to Jena, which I went in via Leipzig. That was my first ICE ride, my first Dosto ride.
Oh.
Because that was Berlin-Schönefeld, I think it was, into Leipzig. And then the train went straight back out of Leipzig on its way to Jena. And I always remember being, you come, because this was a long time ago, and back then Jena was basically a platform, was a bunch of wooden planks, but virtually it was. I've looked on Google Earth and it looks like it's been overhauled now, but it was a bunch of wooden planks, and it looked like this station that, if you're lucky, some sort of awful, old, terrible clunker of a train would turn up and drag you somewhere. And that was certainly when I arrived. I think it was a 143 on a couple of Dostos or something like that. It was very, very much local, regional. And on my journey back, it was an ICE, and turned up to this channel. I'm like, what the heck is an ICE doing at a station like this? It's always amused me because I hear people talking about how unreliable and how late trains are. But yet when I was there, they were absolutely bang on to the second. So clearly something went wrong in the 20 or so years since that. Where else have I been? Obviously, I've been to Cologne a few times for Gamescom, which was good. That was when I saw my first 146.2, and I rode on my first 423, I think it was. So it's always really interesting when you go somewhere new, especially when you've been playing something in Train Sim World for so long. Because my German content is literally, genuinely some of my favourite content in train simulation. PZB makes the game so much more interesting, but the general trains and the routes do. So I played an awful lot of some of this stuff, and then when I went out and I sort of saw the 146 and I saw the Dostos and I saw the 423 and it was so weird. It was so weird. The sense of familiarity that when you've never seen it before. I remember talking to someone who was a British guy living in America. This was back before Train Sim Classic. It was in Microsoft Train Simulator days, and they worked with a team called Blue Arrow Train Sim, and they released an add-on called Severn Valley Railway, modelled after the SVR in the UK. And he did this from the US, having never visited the SVR at all. So he did it all from photographs and the like, because I don't even think they had Google Earth back then. And he said that eventually, after the product was out, the whole team got together on the SVR for a kind of a team day, and he said it was the first time he'd been actually on the route, and it was so trippy. Because he was so intimately familiar with so many details of this route, and yet he'd never been there. So.
I've actually had a similar kind of experience because in the summer of this year, I was my first time ever in around Dresden, and our train basically also went between Dresden and Riesa or Leipzig, and I've never been there before, but just like in Trains in World, and somehow I I recognized like the infrastructure, not just the stations, but also the buildings around the stations and the streets and some street corners, and it was like such an odd feeling that I felt.
Odd, isn't it? It's difficult to describe, isn't it? It's very odd, like I said,
totally.
This familiarity that you can't back up with actually familiarity. It's very strange.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's really cool to be experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have one more question for you. Like I have to ask this question because otherwise my community is going to throw rocks at me. I have to ask you about a certain train. So be prepared to just say no or something like a roadmap. But I have to ask you, what about the ICE4? People are wishing for that one, and I'm sorry, I just have to ask that one.
I would love to make the IC4, and I am canvassing the team. I'm working out what the practicalities are of that. So, but I have nothing to announce, clearly. But I hear you very loud and clear. I heard all of the feedback when we announced TSW6. It was the overriding bit of feedback there. It has been heard. I don't know what that's going to manifest into, when it's going to manifest into something, but yeah, all I can say is we heard you.
Okay. That's I think that's all we want to feel, basically being heard. This is just, I think, one of the main most important things for like communicating or like with trying to, well, how would I phrase that? Like the feeling that the community wants is just always trying to be heard. Of course, no, it's not like everybody can be heard all the time because everybody prefers something else. But just like generally the feeling that we hear you, and that's something that we all want in our life. Yeah.
We pay a lot of attention to the feedback we get all the time, especially around releases, because there's a lot of the feedback then. But no, we try and always pay as much attention, or listen to it. It factors into the stuff that we're doing, and how we're going to be what decisions we make. And it might be that it's not literal. It might be sometimes, for example, that we see lots of people asking for picking an answer out something out of the air. There might be lots of requests or suggestions coming in around some sort of regional freight. And so rather than looking at a specific one that's being raised, it may be that actually that request is answered by coming up with a different one that we feel more broadly meets those things. So quite often what you find is, while it might be lots of requests for route X and route Y, what we release is route Z, because actually we feel it more broadly answers the more general need or desire that's been across there. So we try and factor that in a lot. The surveys are so helpful, so thank you for everyone that's filled out the survey. German participation in the survey this year was the best ever.
Oh wow.
So I really appreciate that, and that helps us, to be honest, because getting balanced feedback is really important, and getting more feedback on that front. So if we always get really good participation from the English server, the English community, and German community participation this time, like I said, was best ever. So that will help us a lot in terms of making sure that we are making good informed decisions based on, because every decision we make is made either based on the information we have or checked against the information we have at some point. So it is absolutely crucial to what we do.
Okay. Ganz kurz, nur um das mal zu übersetzen. Also erstmal danke an Bahnkaktus für die 15 €. Habe ich gesehen. Dankeschön. Also wir haben kurz über den ICE 4 geredet, ne, weil ja der Wunsch ja sehr stark danach ist, und Mert hat halt gesagt, dass er weiß, dass dieser Wunsch da ist. Mehr kann er nicht versprechen an dieser Stelle, aber ne, man ist sich bewusst, dass dieser Wunsch da ist, und schaut dann eben, was man damit dann letztlich machen kann. So jetzt mal ganz verkürzt zusammengefasst. Yeah, but thank you so much for this very interesting answer. I think we all appreciate you being here. I would pay 35 € just for the IC. There you go, 35 €.
Making a note, yeah.
If we reach 5,000 € tonight, we might. No. No. I'm not going to say this. Otherwise, you will never come back. Ja, wenn ihr noch Fragen übrigens habt im Chat, dann stellt sie gerne. Am besten nicht, wo ist Strecke X oder wo ist Zug Y, ne, sondern vielleicht so Fragen inhaltlicher Art. Dann können wir sowas gerne auch mal besprechen. Matt, ja?
I just wanted to interfere for a second and say Bahn Cactus donated 15 Euros.
Ja.
Thank you, Bahn Cactus. Super tolle Aktion mit einem sehr guten Zweck auf ein weiteres schönes Jahr mit tollen DLCs und vielen Mods. Danke dir. Vielen Dank für die Unterstützung und ich denke, das schöne Jahr werden wir haben.
Ja, glaube ich auch. Also vielen Dank nochmal dafür. Matt, now we have like the season of reveals behind us. How did you experience that one compared to last year? Or how do you feel that the community received this compared to last year?
I think last year was really good. I think overall this year has been better, and that's because lessons have been learned. Last year, in our view, we had a really big announcement to make at the end, but obviously that fell flat with a bunch of people.
I remember.
And that's fine. That's a lesson learned. It's and I think ending out this one with some free content is that's not a bad thing. That's always going to be a bit of a positive and negative thing, because if you haven't got Spirit of Steam, then hooray. If you have got Spirit of Steam, it feels like, well, there's nothing there for you. There's not really a way around that, unfortunately. So it's but hey, it's nice to give it's nice to have something out there. There's more people who've got that route now to enjoy it. So but it's overall, I think, very positive. I think there's been some really cool stuff shared this year, as there was last year. I think it was basically very similar. It's just that the end of last year's one didn't have the positive impact that maybe we were hoping it would amongst the community. So, and in hindsight, it makes sense. So,
just to stop you for just 1 second. Sorry. TSG Lucas just donated 100 euros. If that's a real TSG Lucas, wow.
Well done, Lucas.
First of all, thank you so much. Danke, Lukas. Vielen Dank.
Let me check that if that's the real Lucas, because I can see that.
I mean, even if not, it's still thank you so much. But
still,
wow.
Still, if it wouldn't be Lucas, that would be huge.
100 euros. Wow. Thank you so much. You can, by the way, join us in the chat here as well.
It's Lucas. I checked it. It's Lucas.
Okay, Lucas.
Well done, Lucas.
Thank you.
As he seems to listen to here, you can join us as well anytime if you want to. Yeah. So sorry, Matt, but it just I think it was worth the attention.
No, it totally was. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. 100 euros from Lucas.
Yeah.
That's so amazing that.
Talking about like Spirit of Steam and Steam, now we know that Germany is also going to get a Steam logo. Of course, we're not going to talk about that because that's TSG, not Dovetail Games. But is there like any chance that these fixes could be like backported or like at least be the base for another future Steam logo, like for the English community? Is there some kind of energy between that?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, what I need to understand is, once these fixes are completed, what they are, what is involved in using them. Is it just a toggle box to turn them on, or is it a redevelop of the Steam physics to make it use this new way of doing it? So once I know more about what's involved with those changes, then we can have a look and see what that would mean to the workload to try and do it. So I'm definitely keen to have that conversation, explore that with Lucas and the team once they've concluded those changes, so I can understand that better, and then we can potentially look at it. If we did new stuff, then almost certainly it would form part of that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
We actually hit the 1,250 goal.
Wow. Okay.
We have now 1,290 euros, so we're going to go for the next donation goal, which is 1,500 euros.
Okay, yeah, let me quickly change that. We are so much behind because we got these donations so fast. We were not able to like do like every giveaway at that time because we never thought that's going to happen so fast. So we are like very much behind. but we'll keep that in mind. Für 1250 Euro gibt es ein Zuglaufschild, das werden wir auch noch verlosen. Und für 1500 Euro, was habe ich gesagt? Mache ich eine Stunde länger, ne?
Genau, 1500 war eine Stunde länger.
Okay, also wenn wir 1500 Euro erreichen, streame ich nicht bis 22 Uhr, sondern bis 23 Uhr.
Also bis mindestens 23 Uhr. Ende, wie gesagt, offen. Wir schauen mal, was heute so passiert.
Yes. Okay.
Also, just to mention, Lucas wrote in the chat that he is sadly stuck in Christmas, so it sounds like he will not be able to join us.
Okay, that's fine. But anyway, still big thank you. For 1600 we're going to get a sound mod for the Taros logo. Yeah. Hello.
For 2000 we are going to give out 3 games, 1 really big OMSI package, 1 supermarket simulator, and 1 time it was what was it again? Farming Simulator 25.
Yeah, like a big package.
Yes.
That's so much. That's so awesome. I really never thought we could raise so much money in this little time. Wow.
Yeah. And the stream is still going 2 another days, no?
Yeah.
It's still going
tomorrow
2 days.
And the day after tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes. The day after tomorrow. Very good
movie.
Movie. Yes. Catastrophic movie.
Matt, what is, in your opinion, like this so special about German TSW content? What's the sweet spot there for you for German TSW content, for German railway?
I think for me it's no different to railways in general. It's about having enough variety because everybody who, when you play, when you're interested in content, you've got a particular thing probably you're interested in, whether it's like, the railjet driving long haul distances, or whether it's an S-Bahn train driving short ones, or freight haul switching. And I think it's important to have enough variety so that everybody has got something to do. There's something that fits their interests. And I think we have a lot of that. One of the things that are really a huge strength of the German community, the German content, is the overlap with all of the content. So you find that there is a lot more reuse and substitution and layering and so forth, which a lot of other railroads don't do because they just don't have that much. I mean, in the UK, trains that run in the southeast don't run anywhere else. So back in BR days we had a lot more of that, but Germany still benefits from that, and to me that makes the whole experience feel automatically richer than the non-German content because of that very nature. So content that can benefit from that is interesting. But like for example, Mainboard was quite successful as an add-on, even though it's a little tiny branch line.
Never thought that.
It was actually quite popular.
Wow.
And literally outselling some of the British content at the time. So it's it's amazing having that variety will help with that side of things. So I mean, for me personally, when I'm driving a German route, for me it's like with anything, I generally prefer train, anything where I feel like I am driving the train. Sounds like a weird thing to say, but I mean, I want to be operating the controls, not just sitting there looking at it. So long haul trains I'm generally personally not as interested in. S-Bahn trains, switching or shunting, all that kind of thing I'm really interested in. So a route that gives me that, so hence Dresden, Leipzig, is probably one of my top routes for that reason, because of the tremendous variety that it brings. I think Frankfurt Fulda does a lot of the same stuff in terms of variety as well. I just haven't played as much of that lately. So yeah, there's some really good stuff. I've been really enjoying Stuttgart Heilbronn actually, with the because I like older trains as well. Same in the UK, I like the old BR Blue, but the older trains with the more awkward controls, let's call it. I find them more interesting to drive as well. I think they look cool too.
we got another donation. 50 Euro von Alexander. Dankeschön, mein Lieber, von der BPH. So another 50 Euros. Danke. Thank you so much. How did you find the release of Stuttgart-Heilbronn? How was it? What were your expectations? Were these expectations met, or do you have like any feeling about how the route was perceived by the community? How do you feel about Stuttgart-Heilbronn?
I feel good overall. It's it's not been without its issues. So PlayStation 5 still has a problem where the S-Bahn services don't show up. We think we have a handle on why, and it's another one of those limits on the PlayStation Play Without Limits console. We are working on a resolution for that, which will drop 2 dependencies. So it turns out that we are dependent on the Ruhr-Sieg-Nord route for one wagon, and we're dependent on Frankfurt S-Bahn for the 423. So we're looking at copying the 423 into Stuttgart-Heilbronn, and then we can drop the dependency on Frankfurt S-Bahn, which frees up an awful lot of resource. And then we can also move one of the things we've been doing is moving wagons into core. You'll have seen that starting to grow, more and more wagons going into core, so you'll see them in training center and so forth, which then means that you don't need to have any other dependencies for those things. So we're going to take that one wagon that we currently depend on, put that in core, and then that'll drop the dependency on Ruhr-Sieg-Nord, and we think that will fix the PlayStation 5 issue.
Okay.
Probably make the load times a bit faster as well. That's sort of, that's one learning. We're building in a set of tools now, so I'm part of our build process, because assuming we're right, and we need to prove the fix to prove that we're right, assuming we're right, we have an idea of what to do, what to check to make sure we don't fall into this trap again in the future. So the idea is our build system will now flag if we've gone over this limit, so that we can fix it before it goes anywhere near the destroyed.
Okay.
So that'll be good. Otherwise than that, I think that for me, I really like the route. I really like the trains. I like the drive. I was really happy I've been trying to get another cab car in the game for ages. And I was really happy we got the Wico in this time round. One of the bits of feedback I've noticed the beta testers were giving it and players were giving it is that the lack of mint in the liveries, because from what I gather, this was a sort of a late transitional period where there was a lot more variety in the trains. They weren't all uniform. And I recognise that we've had periods in the UK where transition is happening and you end up with trains that are mix match all sorts of liveries. So I like the idea, so I'm investigating what we can do about that, and also the range, the variety of containers. Is the other thing that is because we've only got one license that's appropriate for this route, because we've only got 2 licenses in total now. We've got the one license which is completely inappropriate for this route, because they didn't exist back then. And obviously then there's the Hapag-Lloyd, I think, is the other one that we've got in here. But that means that all the trains are just the same uniform thing, and that is just not how container trains look. So what I'm going to look at doing is getting some blank unbranded containers in different colours put together, because we've been trying really hard to get freight container haulers interested, and they're just not. So I think it's time to go with let's get the variety in, get it unbranded, so that we get the variety, and maybe that will stir some interest. But in the meantime, it means the trains will look a bit more interesting. So that's another thing. I don't know when we'll get any of these things done. I won't even guarantee that we will. But these are the kinds of the things that I've taken from the feedback is kind of like, this is kind of how the route could have been better. There's the I can't remember the name of the station, but I think further south than Stuttgart there was another station, 3 or 4 stations on that people wish the route had gone down to.
The S-Bahn stations.
And I stand by not doing that actually. I re-evaluated that with Lucas, and that would have bust the route hard. Putting in all those underground stations with all that godforsaken light baking,
Yeah.
would have meant, because they're only about, I think, 700 meters apart, I think Lucas was telling me, they're really close together, which would have meant they would have all been in memory. So in Stuttgart, you'd have had basically all this other stuff in memory, which means you wouldn't have room for trains.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Stuttgart would have, we wouldn't have had memory for trains. We had to thin out Stuttgart, so it and the timetable, and that just feels wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was the right call. I'm confident that's the right call.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other areas that we can expand on, because the train variety, the get the container variety, maybe look at the coaches and things like that. So there's a bunch of stuff I want to look at in the new year, talk to the team about, and see what's practical, just so that we can give it a little bit more love. But overall, I really enjoy it. The crissing and crossing of lines, all the different heights of the different lines at various points. The gradients are a nice challenge, combined with the interest of driving the trains differently. So, and then we've got the VR147 coming as well for it to provide a different experience again. So,
I would like to interfere for a second.
Yes.
Because we got another 100 euros donation from the Dragon Rider.
Oh, well done.
And that's amazing.
How much
Sorry
are we
to
have
interfere. 1,440 euros.
Wow, wir haben 1.440 Euro. Ja, wow, crazy.
Yes.
Danke, thank you so much. Matt, somebody keeps asking. I think you answered this question. I think I personally saw you like answering these questions for like 20 times at least. But what's your favorite route in TSW, and what's your favorite loco?
The route I constantly go back to is, I mean, it depends what I want to do. So in the UK, for a UK route, I'll generally go to Southeastern High Speed. For a German route, I'll generally go Dresden, Leipzig. They're kind of my defaults. If I don't particularly know what I want to do, I know that those two routes will have something that will be fun to do and keep me busy. So those would be the two routes. My favourite train, again on Southeastern High Speed, to me the 395 is probably my favourite train in the UK modern-wise. Older trains, I like things like the 9F and the Deltic because they're just iconic. So I don't really have favourite German trains. I mean, it's kind of not been spent enough time with German trains to have what I would call a favourite. But I've been, it's probably a boring answer, but I really like the Trax platform in general. I just think it's really innovative, really interesting solution to the problems that they're trying to solve. And so I've been very impressed with that whole fleet. So I think that's really interesting.
And speaking of tracks, that's actually the perfect, how do you say it, like the perfect transition, because I wanted to talk with Lucas about it, but as Lucas is not going to come here, maybe we can talk a little bit about the BR147 and the Stuttgart route. Can you tell us a little bit more what is planned there, what you're going to do there, why the 147, has it anything to do with the, let's say, not so well received Skyhook 187? What can you tell us about that one?
So, I mean, the 187 is obviously Skyhook's thing, and it's I really like the visual of that type of train, the 187 147. And obviously there's been some challenges. The 187, for all the challenges it has, it's still really popular. Lots of people own it and play with it. But I wanted to do our own version, but I didn't want to step on the 187. That's Skyhook's product. So we looked around at other options, and that was when we looked at the 147. And doing a passenger variant of it, and I really liked that idea. So that was kind of like the reason to doing that, was kind of like wanting to do something that was a bit different, a bit more modern. Some of the stuff we'd done before, and the thought with putting it on Stuttgart was to have a second era for that route to run in. So the route itself will still remain in the same period that it's in at the moment, but then it will have a second timetable which has the 147 and modern trains running on it, as opposed to the older trains that are on the route currently. So it sort of brings a second wind to that route, as well as bringing the 147 into the sim. And I see lots of people asking about the IC2. Yeah, obviously, why not the IC2? I wanted to do the IC2.
Yeah.
When we
Also
first
for
took it on
Dresden-Leipzig, it was like the perfect train. A lot of people said, rightly so.
Yeah.
So what about that one?
I mean, what that one boils down to is that because of the level of detail that goes into coaches, building a new coaching set is expensive in time, resources, everything. And I haven't been able to find a place to fit that into what we're needing to do. So at one point it was an IC2 on the plan, and it got changed.
Okay.
And so and that's not to say the IC2 won't come back. I definitely want to do the IC2. It's the obvious missing thing on that route.
Absolutely.
On the Leipzig route.
Yeah.
So it's and then maybe bring a 146.5 to go with it. But no, it was basically because it's a whole new set. Everybody on here will realise they're a completely new set. But some when you talk to from a visual perspective, particularly for a broader audience that don't look into things closely, you could mistake it for being Dostos in a different livery and think, well, that was really easy. Why didn't you just do that? And it's not a total. They're the new twin deck style coaches, the new generation of Dostos. So, and they're a complete rebuild from scratch. So that's not to say not going to happen, but that's why it's not happened so far. And we already had a pretty full plate with Dresden Leipzig as it then ultimately transpired. So and we went with the 294 because it was really, really popularly requested for a long time that we do the 294. It was kind of the shunter that was missing. You had the V100 that Rivet did. We'd done the V60 previously, the 363, and obviously I think TSG then did one of the variations on that. And then so not having a V90 in the fleet did feel odd. So I was like, well, is this an opportunity where we can actually finally do that and add a bit more freight into it, because we are very passenger heavy. And to some extent that's because our players keep asking for passenger things, but there are also players out there asking for freight things too. And what I like about the 294 is that it's a bit of a road switcher. It's not just locked in the yards, it can leave the yards and run at a decent speed on the roads as well. So it's a really versatile locomotive and really interesting to drive. So that was kind of the reason to do it. And then we've got the 147 coming for Stuttgart. Modern experience on the timetable, which I'm really looking forward to. That timetable Joe is doing, that one is progressing really well with it. And then we'll see what progresses from that point.
But you don't have like any estimation when we might be able to get our hands on it?
It's not that far off.
Okay. Not that far off.
It's
also
not that far off.
Nicht so weit weg. Das WR 147 DLC ist nicht allzu weit weg. Was auch immer das heißt. Ja.
I'm looking forward to join the official stream again for that loco.
Yeah, you have to invite Eric again because he drove that one.
No, absolutely. Make sure that you ping Alex and make that happen. That'd be really good. I really appreciated you coming on the it's a Heilbronn one, wasn't it?
Yes, the Heilbronn Stuttgart stream.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was absolutely nice.
Yeah.
I still remember talking with Jan and Lucas with a Swabian accent, and you just idling and just driving through the scenery.
Yeah.
We talked about that actually when we met, but the first time I met you, I was like really starstruck because I just knew you like from the TSW streams back then. I think the very first stream I really watched was the one with you and Sam back in TSW 2 times, like the 1, 2, 3 infamous streams where, let's say, were pretty interesting to watch. You may still have some bad dreams about it. I don't know.
Regularly.
And then I saw you like a few years later for the first time in Chatham, and I was like kind of starstruck. I was like, "This is the Matt Peddlesden, the Matt Peddlesden who also and
was just this normal annoying person, same as anybody else."
yeah, this as well. But you are also the Matt Peddlesden, and now watch my transition. The Matt Peddlesden who also met David Cameron. There are pictures of you with David Cameron. Mm-hmm. Can you tell the story behind that? I always wanted to ask you this. How come you met David Cameron?
It was really odd because I was actually repping the flight team at that point, even though I wasn't part of the flight team. We had, we got you kind of find out about these things, certainly as an employee of the company, you find out about them kind of on the morning, even though it's something that's been discussed about at kind of exec level for a little bit longer than that. They don't want anything leaking, so we got. 2 or 3 of us got pulled into a room, and there was Adam Lucas, there was myself, and somebody else, and we got pulled into a room and told that David Cameron was hopefully arriving, because there's always things that can happen. And we started organising what we were going to be doing about it. And Adam was going to talk over on the what we playfully called the ironing board, as just the way that this table was bolted to the wall. It kind of looked like an ironing board, and he was going to sort of show Train Sim Classic at that point. I don't think Train Sim Mod existed back then. And then I was because I'm a flight sim player anyway. They had me over on the flight side of the office playing flight sim, and then they did their walk around the office, and David Cameron came around and stood over by the desk and asked me. We talked about what I was doing and so forth, and then he told this interesting story about how because I was flying a Learjet over London, and it's just like. For me, this is terrifying because if that happened in reality, I'd be getting a phone call, and not a nice phone call. I know he was saying that, he's always, got it in the back of his mind that, and he will get, not irregularly, phone calls, from the security teams when people are doing bad things in the sky. To sort of like, should we be taking some action about this? And it's just like, it makes you think actually of how much, you don't understand, you don't take for granted, or you do take for granted in terms of the pressure and the scale of the decisions that they have to make and so forth. So it was really good. It was really really friendly, really great to chat to. He was really interested in what we were looking at, and I know Adam had a great conversation demoing some things with him as well in the game. So it was a really fun visit. Yeah,
that's those photos that exist are like legendary. I don't know, like every couple of months I just Google these ones and watch them and be amazed. I don't know why.
Yeah, it was on the news. The clip was on our local. It was on the sort of the national news as well.
Was it? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. No, it was a video crew. It wasn't just photos. It was a video crew. It was on the national news.
Nice.
So it was. Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's very cool.
Nice. Okay, Matt. One last question for you. Then you can have your evening back again with your private stuff. But one last question by virtual complication. What's your most favorite type of mustard?
Mustard?
Yes.
I can answer that question very quickly and easily. None.
That's the only right question.
Yeah, that's fine.
The appropriate answer to that question is get it off my plate, get it away. In fact, if it went on my plate, I want a new plate.
Okay, actually, we have one question from Gamerzug. It's called, will there be an optimized version for the PS5 Pro? I play on the PS5 Pro.
So not at the moment. It requires some additional changes for us to be able to adopt it. And at the moment, it doesn't actually offer a ton of benefit to TSW. From what we can see, you already get some benefit on it because you're going to get a benefit of CPU and so forth. But it's something we'll continue to keep an eye on. But it's not something on our radar at the moment. No.
Mm-hmm. And we got a donation by a so-called DTG Matt Pat. Who could that be? Thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you so much.
Gonna get you over that 1,500.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming over. Thanks for doing all the stuff you're doing for the community, for TSW, for all of us, for this great hobby we play, and you're like one of the enablers of that. So thanks for all the hours and hours you put into that game and the community, and we can all just appreciate you being here as part of this big journey. And just a big thank you from us to you for being here and for being the person that you are.
Thank you, and thank you to everybody. Everybody yourself, to Dion, everybody, and Train Zone, for being, for leading these communities and guiding and providing, the insights that you do. Yeah. We learn a lot from you, and how to. We're making the game for you, not us. So it's crucial that we keep a really good two-way dialogue, and you help us make the game that you all want. So thank you all very, very much for everything that you do, and for supporting this great charities. And Merry Christmas, everybody, or Happy Holidays, however you celebrate. Yeah. And thank you for inviting me on.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And also Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
thank you for being here.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.